Welcome to the Wife Stories YouTube channel. New video every day, and don't forget to subscribe. Here we go.
I see the blood first, a dark puddle, shimmering in the half-light near the doorway. I'm not sure if it's real or if I'm imagining it. My vision pulses, and my heart pounds so hard that everything else is drowned out. My chest tightens, every breath tearing through me like broken glass. I try to step forward, but my legs don't obey. They're shaking, or maybe they're numb. The blood on the floor looks thicker than water, darker than wine, and the metallic smell that hangs in the air could just be in my head. Everything feels unreal. My hands, my torso, my own heartbeat. I should move. I should do something. But I just stand there, blinking at the red, wondering if it's mine. I draw in a ragged breath. My ribs ache. It's the kind of pain that radiates through muscle and sinew, making your fingers tremble when you try to curl them into fists. I can't even remember how I got here. The day began with the usual routine. Coffee machine sputtering, the half-asleep shuffle to the shower, the swirl of thoughts about work. My mind was busy with numbers and strategies, the daily treadmill of earning money to keep up this life. And then everything flipped upside down. I wiped sweat from my brow. It stings my eyes. The world is spinning in slow motion, as if the laws of gravity have changed. My left shoulder throbs. Feels like I've slammed into something. My shirt is damp, pressed tight against my torso. Did I fall? Did someone shove me? I fight to hold on to any coherent thought. Adrenaline is an ugly friend, flooding my system and pushing me between hyper-awareness and dizzy confusion. I force myself to look away from the puddle, lift my gaze, and see the bedroom door. The handle is slightly turned as if someone rushed in or out. My wife's voice, Caitlin's voice, slices through the haze in my mind. I can't quite make out her words, but I know that tone. It's that mocking, impatient sigh that used to be playful in our early years, but now stands like a wall of scorn between us. I swallow, trying to moisten my dry throat. My legs take a step forward, stumbling with the effort. The tension in my stomach grows, a slow, twisting dread that tells me what I'll see next will be the end of me, the end of everything I've been. When I push the door, it swings inward and reveals them. Caitlin, my wife of 15 years, her hair disheveled, the front of her blouse half open, her skin flushed. And him, a man with dark hair and a confident stance, leaning against the foot of our bed as though he owns the place. Anthony. I know him from the times I'd see his name in her phone or catch glimpses of him at the marketing firm's events. My mind never let me believe anything was going on. I told myself I was just being paranoid, that my stress was playing tricks on me. Yet here he is, sweat glistening on his bare shoulders, lips parted as he stares back at me. For a moment, neither of them moves. We're three silhouettes locked in a frozen tableau, each breath thick with something I can't find words for. Caitlin's eyes flicker over me, and a smirk dances at the corner of her mouth. The air is still. She steps back, buttoning the top of her blouse with an unhurried motion, like she doesn't care that I'm watching. Actually, she wants me to watch. And then she says it, low, almost bored. You're home early. I open my mouth to speak, but nothing comes out. My body is trembling, my arms feel weak, and my lower back is screaming with tension. Heat rushes from my spine up to my neck, making my vision blur. I want to shout, I want to roar, but the best I can do is croak. What? What the hell is this? My voice cracks, an embarrassing squeak. It's the voice of a man cornered by the worst fear imaginable, not the confident tone I use at work. She doesn't even bother to pretend. There's no stammered excuse, no sudden attempt to hide. She actually laughs under her breath, an exhalation of victory or derision. Isn't it obvious? Her words cut me. I can't decide whether to lunge at Anthony or at her, but my limbs hang there, limbs that don't feel like my own anymore. I'm pinned by the force of this betrayal, pinned by the finality of the scene in front of me. Anthony looks at me, and there's a flicker of guilt in his eyes. maybe sympathy. But he doesn't move away. He doesn't cover himself or stammer an apology. He just meets my gaze. Listen, man, I didn't plan for it to happen like this. His voice is calm, with a hint of regret, but not enough to stop him. Maybe he's sincere in some twisted way. Maybe it's all just an act. Right now, it doesn't matter. She sneers. Don't tell him that. You planned everything. Then she tilts her head, as if she's examining me. You think I should apologize. For what? For being alive. For wanting something real. She steps closer to me, the smell of sweat and perfume wafting in the air. My stomach churns. Michael, please. You're not half as innocent as you pretend. That's when my mind clicks into place. Something about her tone. The casual cruelty, that subtle twist of sarcasm, provokes a wave of nausea. I clutch the doorframe for support. Blood or no blood, I feel like my insides are spilling out. My breathing is ragged, my ribs vibrating with each exhalation. In the corner of my vision, that puddle in the hallway is still there, pulsing with every heartbeat. I still don't know whose blood it is. Her voice turns razor sharp. You going to stand there all day? Do something. Say something. And I manage to speak. Why? I choke on the word. We minus 15 years. Why? You said you loved me. It sounds pathetic coming out of my mouth. A child's whimper in a grown man's voice. But it's all I can manage. She shakes her head, an exaggerated movement like she's scolding a fool. Because I need more, Michael. You made it all about you. Your job. Your finances. Your precious routine. When was the last time you really looked at me? Touched me like you cared? She gives Anthony a quick glance, and there's a spark in her eyes that stabs me deep. He sees me. He listens. My knees buckle a bit, and I stumble back. 1 step, 2 steps. The heartbreak is physical, a punch to the gut that leaves me gasping. I can't even feel my face, as if my body's in shock. Caitlin crosses her arms under her chest and just stares. There's a challenge in her eyes. Dare me to keep going. Dare me to describe in detail what just happened on this bed. Anthony runs a hand through his hair, possibly feeling the tension. He slides his shirt back on, rummaging for his belt. He keeps shooting looks at me, fleeting glimpses of regret. But he doesn't apologize. He just stands there, pulling on his shoes, seemingly impatient for this to be over. Michael, I didn't come here to humiliate you, he says after a moment. Then get out, I snap, voice cracking. I point at him, though my hand shakes. Get the hell out of my house. He hesitates. Then, quietly, fine. He picks up his jacket from the floor, and just before he moves past me, he places a hand on my shoulder, as if he wants to say something else. I slap it away. The contact sends a jolt of pain up my shoulder that mingles with the heartbreak, forming an unholy mix of fury and sorrow. I grip the doorframe again, forcing myself not to collapse. Once he's gone, she just stares at me. The bedroom feels smaller now, thick with unspoken tension. The sheets are tangled, pillows half fallen to the floor, a lingering hint of perfume in the air. It's terrifyingly intimate, an invasion of the bed we once shared. My body is trembling from the betrayal, from the smell of sweat, and the residue of their coupling. I feel filthy, humiliated. My wife stands there, brushing her hair back from her face, as though I'm the intruder in my own home. Her gaze flickers down the hall toward the strange puddle. Is that real? She asks, not with concern but with a mocking curiosity. I shake my head. I don't know. My body's numb. She sighs, almost irritated. Then clean it up, or you'll just stand there drowning in your own fantasies. That final line twists the knife. As though I made this scene up, conjured my own misery. How long? I whisper. Tears sting the corners of my eyes, but I refuse to let them fall. My pride keeps them locked inside. How long have you been doing this? Months. She raises an eyebrow. Does it matter? Months. My voice cracks again. anger, and hurt surge in me like a broken dam. I find myself leaning against the wall, my free hand pressed to my stomach. I can't stand upright. My nerves are on fire. She steps closer, her arms folded. Yes, he was there when you were too busy. And let's not pretend your hands are clean. You've locked me out emotionally for years. You buried yourself in numbers, strategies, long meetings, and left me alone in this house. Alone in our bed. My lungs burn with each breath. The argument is strangled. I was working to keep us afloat, to give you and our daughter a good life. Caitlin snorts. Don't bring her into this. She's not here. You act like you did everything for us, but you never asked what we really wanted. Her tone is calm, measured, and lethal. She's not shouting. She doesn't need to. Each word hits like a bullet. I wanted to feel alive. I wanted to feel wanted. And that gives you the right to do this. I gesture to the bed, to the sweat-stained sheets that reek of betrayal. In our home, while I'm working. She shrugs. I don't owe you an apology, Michael. Not anymore. My heart crumples at those words. She's so certain, so casual, as if all the love we once had turned to dust without me noticing. Maybe I should have noticed. Maybe I did notice, but I was too afraid to confront it. I was too busy telling myself we were just going through a rough patch. I press my palm to my forehead, trying to steady the swirl of nausea. The throbbing in my shoulder intensifies. I shut my eyes, as though I might vanish into the darkness behind my lids. It's over, I say softly, the words tasting like defeat. Us. This. Marriage. She smiles, a thin, contemptuous curl of her lips. Of course it is. We just never said it out loud. A bitter laugh escapes me. I glance back at that puddle of blood, still shining in the hallway. My mind flickers with the possibility that I might be hallucinating everything, that I've lost my grip on reality. Pain lances through my ribcage. I can't be certain if I've been stabbed, or if it's just the heartbreak. You think you're hurting only me, I manage, teeth gritted. But this will come back on you too. She raises an eyebrow again, as if daring me. Oh, Michael, stop acting like some wounded hero. If you have something to say, say it. I swallow the bile in my throat. Adrenaline is fading, replaced by a hot, pulsating headache. I'll do more than say it. You have no idea what's coming. She just shakes her head. Empty threats. I stagger out of the bedroom, ignoring her pointed glare. There's a dryness in my mouth, a hollow in my chest where my heart should be. The air in the hallway feels thick, making me cough. I step around that ominous puddle, still uncertain if it's real. My mind can't focus on it anymore. My thoughts shift into a new gear, one I've never felt before, like stepping into a cold, mechanical clarity. The heartbreak is there, but so is a rising fury, slow and steady. I shuffle into the bathroom, flip on the light, and catch a glimpse of my reflection in the mirror. Pale face, wide eyes, sweat-soaked hair, shirt clinging to my torso. A faint bruise is forming on my left collarbone. Did I crash into a piece of furniture in my initial panic? I don't recall. Slowly, I peel off my shirt. There's a red smear on my chest. Blood. My own. I check for a wound, but there's just a small scrape near my shoulder. Nothing serious. The blood looks like it might have come from my busted knuckles. I must have hit something, maybe a wall. My entire hand aches, and the knuckles are raw and bleeding. I didn't even feel it until now. I run water over my hand, watching the swirl of pink pour down the drain. It's mesmerizing. My wife is in the other room, straightening the sheets she just defiled. My house is no longer a sanctuary. I let the water run until it's scalding, wanting the pain in my hand to override the agony in my chest. I keep seeing Anthony's half smile, my wife's parted lips, the sweat on their skin, the mockery in her eyes. My breathing grows ragged. Soon, the bathroom is thick with steam. My thoughts turn dark. It's not just heartbreak. It's betrayal, a nuclear bomb set off in the middle of my life. When I emerged from college, I believed in building a good life. Stable job, comfortable home, family dinners, a shared bed. I thought that was the dream. Over time, the dream turned into routine, and routine turned into a cage. I left her alone in that cage too many times, maybe. But I never expected she'd set it on fire. I turn off the tap and press a fresh towel to my knuckles, then wipe my chest. The water droplets mix with the last traces of blood, leaving my body clean and trembling. My reflection stares back, eyes hollow. I lean closer to the mirror. My breath fogs the glass, making me look like a ghost. I'm not even sure if I'm still here. Eventually, I step out. She's in the hallway now, arms crossed, leaning against the wall where the blood puddle was. It's gone. She's wiped it away. That act feels symbolic, a casual dismissal of my pain. She glances at my bare chest, at the bruise, but doesn't say a word about it. Instead, she straightens her blouse again and mutters, "We need to talk finances. The house. The accounts." I close my eyes. You can't give me 5 minutes to process before you start dividing up the spoils of war. She just shrugs. We have a mortgage. We have credit cards. It's all coming out one way or another. My fingernails dig into my palm, reopening the cut on my knuckles. Pain surges, but I welcome it. At least it's something tangible. I realize in a grim flash that this marriage ended a long time ago. We're just formalizing it now. Get out of my sight. I manage. I can't. If I see your face again right now, I might. Might what? She arches an eyebrow, mocking me. Just leave me alone. I snarl, my voice ripping out of my throat. The fury is alive now, scalding me from the inside. She doesn't move at first, like she's testing me. Finally, she rolls her eyes and strolls away, picking up her phone from the kitchen counter. She's probably texting him, letting him know the coast is clear. I slump against the wall, letting the cold surface soothe my burning skin. Every muscle in my body feels worn down. My mind whirls with images, her with him, their hands locked, her smile in that moment, everything so vivid I can practically taste the betrayal. I can't stay here. The walls are pressing in. The memory of them on that bed clings to every object in this house. Without thinking, I grab my coat from the hook near the door and leave. I don't even know where I'm going. The sun outside is harsh on my eyes. My truck is in the driveway, and as I climb in, I feel a wave of nausea. The seat belt bites into my chest. I grip the steering wheel until my knuckles whiten, ignoring the fresh sting in my already bleeding hand. I back out too fast, almost colliding with the maillocks. Tires squeal. My mind is full of static, a hiss of anger, sorrow, disbelief. I tear off down the street, weaving around slower cars. Horns blare, but I don't care. I keep driving, block after block, until the suburban houses give way to older storefronts. At some point, I realize I'm heading toward the trails, the place I use to run every weekend. It's the only place I feel I can breathe. By the time I reach the trailhead, my chest is pounding and my temples are throbbing. The little parking lot is mostly empty, a single car near the entrance. I step out, letting the brisk wind hit me. The mountains loom in the distance, majestic and indifferent. I inhale, but the air catches in my throat. Another wave of dizziness. My heart keeps hammering, as if it's trying to remind me I'm still alive. I'm not sure I want to feel alive right now. In a daze I walk. The trail is quiet. Trees stand tall, the gravel crunches under my shoes. Each step is jarring for my battered muscles. Memories flash uninvited. Caitlin in a wedding dress, the curve of her smile when she said yes all those years ago. Then I see that exact same curve twisted into cruelty, looking down on me while she stands next to him. My tears finally break free. I curse under my breath, letting the tears fall. No one's here to watch me cry anyway. Time loses meaning. I don't know how far I walk. The The sun shifts in the sky, and I eventually find a large boulder to lean against. My chest heaves with ragged breaths. My hand throbs. That scrapes me back into reality. I rummage in my coat pocket and find a half-crumpled napkin, press it to my bleeding knuckles. The scent of my own coppery blood mingles with the pine. It's strangely soothing, like a stark reminder that I'm mortal, that I can still bleed. I stare at the horizon, letting the wind numb my cheeks. A part of me wants to vanish into these mountains, never see another living soul, but I know there's no escape. My life is in freefall, and the only option is to face it, or drown in it. I catch my reflection in a small puddle along Betrayal. The water's clear, reflecting my hollow eyes. I whisper, "She destroyed me." The words echo in my head. And yet, behind that echo, I sense something else. Maybe the chance to become stronger than I was. I push the thought aside. Right now, I'm just a man bleeding in the wilderness, betrayed by his wife, humiliated in his own home. My phone buzzes in my pocket, snapping me back to reality. I fish it out. It's a text from Caitlin. "When you decide to stop sulking, we need to have a real conversation. There's a lot to settle. Don't make it worse." I glare at the screen. My jaw tightens. I consider smashing the phone right there on the rocks, but I slip it back into my pocket. My mind starts to unravel a plan, or at least the hint of one. There's a sense of calculation creeping in, the side of me that's good at analyzing data and outcomes. I can't let her walk away with everything, can't let her humiliate me further. But I also can't just vanish like a coward. She's asked for war, in her own quiet way. Fine. My breath starts to even out, though the ache in my ribs persists. I push myself off the boulder, swallowing the last of my tears. My lips feel cracked. I realize I haven't drunk any water for hours. Doesn't matter. The husk of who I was is sloughing off, replaced by something colder and more determined. She wants to talk finances. Let's see how this plays out. Over the next few days, I'll arrange my exit strategy, making sure I retain enough power to land on my feet. If she thinks I'll roll over and let her keep everything, my home, my dignity, she's dead wrong. My gaze drifts up to the mountaintops. The sun outlines them in gold, and for a moment, I let the quiet majesty calm me. Then I turn back toward the path and head to my truck, pressing a hand to the side of my aching ribcage. Every step sends a twinge of pain through me, but the physical discomfort feels strangely right, matching the storm inside my head. Driving back is a blur. Traffic, headlights, the hum of the engine. By the time I pull into the driveway, the sky is a deep navy. I half expect to see her bedroom light on, maybe a second silhouette behind the curtain. But the house is dark, silent. My chest goes tight again. I step out of the truck, the cold air biting into my skin, and stand there for a moment, breathing. Is she gone? Did she leave for good? Or is she inside, waiting for me with that same mocking expression? When I push the front door open, the living room is empty. A single lamp in the corner illuminates the furniture. Everything looks so normal. Books on the shelf, the TV remote on the coffee table, the couch we used to cuddle on. I set my keys aside and walk through the house. In the bedroom, I'm half relieved to see that the bed is made, fresh sheets replacing the ones they dirtied. A small suitcase sits by the closet, half packed. She's not here. I sit on the bed, pressing my palm against the comforter. My mind reels, remembering how she used to lie next to me, how she'd nestle her head on my shoulder. A wave of nausea hits me, and I bolt to the bathroom. I retch over the toilet, emptying what little is in my stomach. My shoulders convulse. Tears mix with saliva. Every heave feels like a stab under my ribs. When it's done, I collapse on the cold tile, my forehead pressed against the porcelain, feeling half dead. Minutes drag by. Eventually, I stand, rinse my mouth, and gaze at my reflection in the mirror again. Dark circles under my eyes, lines of exhaustion etched in my skin. The person in the mirror looks older, as if I've aged a decade in a single day. I flick off the light. Darkness envelops me, and for a second, I want to sink into it completely. Instead, I shuffle to the living room and slump onto the couch. My mind won't stop replaying her words, her sneering face, their tangled bodies. I can almost hear the sounds of their pleasure echoing in the hallway. I press my hands to my ears, as if I could block it out. Then I remember the text from her, waiting on my phone. I pull it out of my pocket. Another message from her. We'll need to talk about how we split everything. Get ready. Something in me snaps. I punch the couch cushion, ignoring the sting in my knuckles. The rage is almost comforting now, better than the dead numbness that threatened to swallow me. Let her think I'm broken. I'll show her just how shattered a man can get before he picks up the shards and uses them. Asterisk, 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 morning light filters through the blinds. My entire body feels stiff. I slept on the couch with no blanket, half upright. My back throbs. The house is still empty. A note on the kitchen counter. I took some things. I'll be at a friend's. Don't do anything stupid. I read the scrawled handwriting, her confident little curves, and feel my chest tighten with renewed bitterness. She treats me like some unhinged child. I drink a cup of black coffee, the bitter taste anchoring me. My mind churns with possibilities. I can confront her in 100 ways, yelling, threatening, or maybe just giving up. But I've never been one to back down from a challenge, even if it rips my soul to pieces. Around noon, I get a text from my lawyer friend, Mark. Dude, saw your missed calls. Everything okay? He's the only person I can trust right now. I pick up the phone and call him back, my voice trembling as I try to explain the mess I'm in. He listens quietly, then says, I'm sorry, man. Really, but we can handle the legal side. Just keep your cool, and we'll figure out the finances, property, whatever you need. I exhale, nodding to no one. The swirl in my chest subsides a little. Thanks. I appreciate it. Still, legal recourse can only go so far in healing the betrayal. I end the call, my phone clutched tight, knuckles white. My heart is pounding again, an anxious thrum that blends with the memory of that humiliating scene. I slump into a kitchen chair, pressing my eyes shut. They burn from lack of sleep. I need clarity, a plan. But all I have is this swirl of anger, heartbreak, and the relentless drive for some kind of revenge. The day drags on. I wander the empty house, picking up objects that remind me of her. The photo album from our honeymoon, dusty from years of neglect. The old sweatshirt she used to borrow when she was cold. Each item feels like a nail hammered into my coffin. By late afternoon, I can't stand the silence anymore. I go out to the yard, rake leaves like a mindless automaton, anything to keep my hands busy. That's when she shows up. Her car pulls into the driveway, and I watch from behind a curtain of autumn leaves. My heart knocks against my ribs. I drop the rake, stepping forward as she gets out of the car. Her posture is as confident as ever, a kind of forced elegance. She's wearing jeans and a sweater that accentuates her figure, simple, but somehow she makes it look like she's attending a victory parade. We lock eyes. She stands there, arms crossed, a folder in her hand. Paperwork, no doubt. My jaw tightens. I approach slowly, half expecting to see Anthony in the passenger seat, but she's alone. She wrinkles her nose at the scattered leaves, as if it's an inconvenience to her. Let's go inside, she says, not bothering with a greeting. I stiffen, wanting to tell her to stand out here in the cold, but I nod, beckoning for her to follow. Inside, the air is stale, heavy with tension. We sit at the dining table, and she slides the folder toward me. Preliminary separation agreement, she says, voice clipped. We can negotiate details, or we can drag it through court. Up to you. I stare at the folder. My eyes flick over her face, noticing the slight smudge of eyeliner that hints she might have cried recently. But I'm done caring. I pick it up, flip through the pages. It's basically a blueprint for dividing assets, accounts, and God, She's even spelled out custody arrangements for our daughter. A jolt of horror courses through me. We never once talked about splitting custody. She's already drafting a plan. What about her? I ask quietly, feeling my chest squeeze. What does she think about all this? She sets her jaw. She's out of state right now, on that school trip. We'll talk to her together when she returns. My nostrils flare. So you decided to blow up the family right before her trip. Perfect timing. Sarcasm drips from my voice. She glares. Don't you dare pin this all on me. You don't get to play the saint. We lock eyes, the anger sizzling between us. I see the woman I fell in love with, hidden behind layers of resentment. And I hate it. I hate that I still notice the curve of her lips, the line of her throat. I hate that my body still yearns for what we once had, even as my mind screams at the betrayal. Why him? I finally blurt. It's a stupid question, but it bursts out of me. Out of all the men you could choose, why Anthony? She tosses her hair. He noticed me. He made me feel alive. You were so busy with your damn job, your routines. I did it for us. I seethe. She laughs bitterly. How convenient. That's what you always say. Now look where we are. A hush falls. My heart is racing, driving me toward a decision I can't define yet. I flick through the agreement again. It's all so formal, so calculated. A quiet voice in my head whispers that if I sign it, she and that man might walk away scot-free, with enough resources to start over wherever they please. I grit my teeth. My pride won't allow it. Something about the finality of it all rubs me raw. You expect me just to sign this. No fight, no negotiation. She levels her gaze at me. You can fight if you want, but it'll be ugly. And I won't hold back. I sensed the threat in her tone. She'd reveal every imperfection, every moment I neglected her. She'd paint me as the monster, the unloving husband. My stomach twists. But the path of compliance leaves me burning with bitterness. Either way I lose. And yet, I'm too angry to accept that. I rise from my chair, ignoring the jolt of pain in my back. Get out, I say. She rises too, lifting the folder from the table. We'll continue this when you're calmer. I bark a humorless laugh. Calmer? You want calm. Then you shouldn't have slept with someone else in our bed. The fury in my voice cracks the veneer of composure I was clinging to. Pack up. Leave. I can't look at you without. I cut off, choking on my words. She stands there, meeting my glare. For a moment, her eyes glisten with something like sadness, but it fades. Fine, she breathes, gathering her bag. As she heads for the door, she pauses. Michael, you're not the only one hurting. I can't contain the bile that rushes up my throat. Go to hell. Her face hardens. She opens the door, and the blast of cold air makes me shiver. Then she's gone. Silence descends again, heavier than before. My body goes rigid. My heart slams in my chest, my pulse drumming in my ears. My mind keeps replaying the memory of her and Anthony, their mingled breath, her low moan, scenes I can't unsee. The agony is physical, a dull roar in my ribs, in my bruised shoulder, in the raw flesh of my knuckles. Days pass in a suffocating blur. She returns sometimes for a few hours to pick up more clothes or talk about finances. We dance around each other like armed strangers, each refusing to lay down our weapons. At night, I haunt the house, drifting from room to room, sleep a distant memory. My mind loops with images of revenge, fantasies of humiliating them, of exposing their affair to her colleagues, of driving Anthony out of town. I can't shake the compulsion. The more I dwell on it, the more urgent it becomes. My daughter returns soon. I have to figure something out before then. I don't want her to see me like this, broken, furious, teetering on the edge of something destructive. One afternoon, I drive downtown to an address I pulled from Caitlin's phone records. It's Anthony's studio apartment, where he apparently meets clients or works on design projects. I don't have a concrete plan, but my blood roars in my veins, fueling me with the righteous anger of a betrayed man. I park on a side street, scanning the small, nondescript building. Anxiety buzzes in my gut, but it's overshadowed by a grim determination. I climb the narrow flight of stairs and find the door. My fist raps on it so hard the hinges rattle. There's no immediate answer. I raise my fist to knock again when the door cracks open, revealing Anthony in sweatpants, hair slightly damp. For a moment, we just stare at each other. Surprise flares in his eyes, then wariness. "Michael," he says quietly, stepping back. "Look, man." Without waiting, I shove the door open and stride in. The space is minimalist. White walls, a large drafting table, a scattering of design materials. My heart hammers against my chest. I scan the room, half expecting to see evidence of her, but it's just him. He closes the door behind me, watching me with caution. I sense he's ready to defend himself if things turn violent. My hands tighten, the memory of my wounded knuckles flooding back. "I want answers," I say, voice shaking. "You owe me that, at least." He exhales. "Look, I'm sorry." He rubs the back of his neck. "I never set out to wreck your marriage." My mouth twists. "But you did, and I'm the one paying the price. The hell were you thinking?" He gestures for me to sit, but I stay standing. So he leans against a table, crossing his arms. I care about her. We connected, okay. She was lonely, I was lonely. It just happened. Just happened. I let out a bitter laugh. "Don't insult me with that. You planned it, remember? She told me so." He clenches his jaw. "We met at a work function. Started talking. She confided in me about her unhappiness. It escalated. My hands ball into fists. Every muscle in me screams to smash him into the wall. But I hold back. Instead, my voice trembles with barely contained rage. "She was my wife. You bastard." He nods, swallowing hard. "I know." We stare each other down, tension humming. The smell of stale coffee lingers in the air. I keep waiting for him to show some real remorse, but I see only guarded caution. He's worried I'll snap. Maybe I should. Maybe the only justice is in violence. But as I stand there, chest heaving, I realize it won't fix anything. It won't erase the betrayal. And in the end, I'd be the one in cuffs. My breath comes out shaky. "You think you've won." I hiss. "You think because she came to your bed, you're the victor." He shakes his head. "There's no winning here, man. We're all hurting. She's got her issues. And I'm not sure if she wants to be with me or not. This isn't the fairy tale you think it is." I bark out a humorless laugh. "So you want me to pity you? You caused this. You destroyed my life." He raises his hands in a placating gesture. "I'm not looking for pity. I'm just telling you the truth. She's complicated. Maybe she used me as an escape. Maybe she just wanted to hurt you. I don't know. But I'm stuck in the middle now. That's your problem." My shoulders tense. "Here's what I came to say. If you ever show up at my house again, if I see you near my daughter," I pause, letting the threat hang, "you'll wish you never met either of us." He nods slowly, eyes steady on mine. I get it. I turn on my heel and march out the door, ignoring the urge to slam it. My pulse thunders in my ears as I descend the stairs 2 at a time. Outside, the cold air claws at my lungs, and I gulp it in, trying to steady myself. My entire body shakes, whether from adrenaline or heartbreak. I can't tell. But I feel an odd flicker of relief. I confronted him, at least. I reclaimed a shred of dignity. *****. The final confrontation with Caitlin comes a few nights later. She calls, telling me we have to finalize everything before our daughter returns. The tension in her voice is palpable. I sense her frustration that I haven't crumbled, that I haven't signed her neat little agreement. Perhaps she hoped I'd accept defeat or flee, but I'm still here, and that upsets her carefully laid plans. We agree to meet at the house. It's cold outside, the wind rattling the shutters. I sit in the living room, waiting. She arrives in a swirl of perfume and tension, shutting the door behind her. I stand to face her, arms crossed, heart pounding. She clutches a sheaf of papers. "Let's get this done," she says, voice sharp. I watch her set out the documents on the coffee table. She kneels beside them, flipping pages with brisk efficiency. My gaze locks onto her slender hands, once so familiar, now so distant. The ache in my chest pulses. I see the wedding ring is gone from her finger, replaced by a faint tan line. My breath catches. She looks up, noticing my stare. "I took it off a while ago," she murmurs. I see that. My voice is hollow. She continues flipping pages. "If we can agree on these terms, we'll both move on. It's not perfect, but it's fair." The house gets sold. Proceeds split. Joint custody with a set schedule. Bank accounts divided according to contributions. She pauses. Sign here, here, and here. My stomach churns. It feels so callous, as though we're handling a business transaction. I take a step back, rummaging for the pen on the table. I hold it but don't sign. My throat is dry. "You want me to just accept that you get to ruin everything. And we part ways nicely." Her brows knit. "It's done. We can't undo it. The best we can do is be civilized." My jaw clenches. Civilized. Right. Because sleeping with a coworker in our marital bed was so civilized. She exhales angrily. "Stop throwing that in my face." I bark a short, bitter laugh. "You're unbelievable." My shoulders quake, and I feel that old rage burning anew. The bruises on my knuckles twinge in memory. "You told me I wasn't enough, that I never listened. But you never once told me you were so lonely you'd do this. You never gave me a chance." Her eyes flash. "A chance to do what?" "Become someone you're not." She stands, crossing her arms. The tension radiates off her. "Maybe we grew apart. Maybe we never really fit. Don't pretend you're innocent." "You're right. I'm not." I say softly, eyes close. "But you didn't have to destroy me on your way out." She lifts her chin. "I did what I needed to do to feel alive." A hollow laugh escapes me. My limbs feel heavy. "Congratulations." Then, I turn my head toward the open window, where a draft slips in. "Here's my final condition. Don't you dare try to keep our daughter away from me, or twist her mind to make me the villain." She looks wounded for a fraction of a second, then nods. "I won't. She deserves better than that." The hush that follows is stifling. I kneel down, pick up the pen, and sign where she indicated. I press so hard that the tip nearly tears the paper. My signature looks shaky, a testament to the turmoil in my chest. When I finish, I throw the pen on the table, rise to my feet, and stare at her. "Are we done?" I ask, my voice raw. She nods, gathering the documents in her arms. "Yes." A moment passes, so thick with tension I can barely breathe. We stand there, the memories of 15 years swirling around us, overshadowed by bitterness. Then she turns to go. On impulse, I grab her wrist, gently but firmly. She stiffens, glancing over her shoulder. "Was it worth it?" I whisper, the question lodging in my throat. "Hurting me like that, humiliating me, did it give you what you wanted?" Her jaw works. For a moment, I see a flicker of regret in her eyes. "It wasn't about you," she finally says, voice trembling. "It was about me." The words slice through me. I let go of her wrist. She doesn't linger. She strides to the door, glances back once, and then she's gone, the door clicking shut behind her. Cold air seeps in, matching the chill inside me. I sink to my knees, ignoring the ache in my ribcage. My heart feels like it's been torn open, but strangely, there's also relief, a savage kind of liberation that roars up from my gut. She's gone. She can't hurt me anymore. I hang my head, letting silent tears fall to the floor. My body shakes. Minutes or hours pass. I'm not sure. When I finally stand, it's like stepping out of someone else's skin. My muscles are stiff, my mind raw with exhaustion. My phone buzzes with a message from Mark, no doubt about the divorce filing. I silence it. This quiet moment belongs to me, to the ghost I've become, and the new shape I'm trying to inhabit. I walk to the kitchen. Every step is deliberate. I open a cupboard, take out a glass, fill it with water. Drink. My throat aches, but the water helps. I close my eyes. I can't feel my body the way I used to. I'm numb in strange places, raw in others. But I'm alive. I'm still here. The realization stuns me. I survived. She tried to break me, and maybe she did. But I'm still standing, even with the bruises on my soul. My hand trembles as I set the glass in the sink. I remember that puddle of blood in the hallway, real or imagined, the first image of this new, fractured life. But it didn't swallow me whole. I endured. I switch off the kitchen light, leaving the house dimly lit by a single lamp in the living room. My footsteps echo as I walk, more confident than before. I stand in the threshold of the bedroom, inhaling deeply. The bed is neat, a plain comforter on top. No trace of her scent remains. My muscles tighten, but the fear that used to grip me is fading. I approach the bed and sit on the edge, exhaling slowly. My ribs still ache, and my bruised knuckles remind me of what's happened. But as my gaze drifts around the room, I sense the faint stirrings of possibility. Without her, I can decide what this space becomes. Maybe I'll paint the walls a different color, buy new sheets that don't reek of betrayal. For a long time, I sit in the quiet, letting the thoughts come and go. My heartbeat is steady, the adrenaline gone, replaced by a calm so profound it's unsettling. My wife is no longer my wife. My life is no longer the life I knew. But I remain, breathing in and out, forging a future from the broken pieces. Somewhere in my head, I hear the question, who am I now? And the answer comes, raw and unsteady. I'm the man who was destroyed and survived. A faint pulse of resolution flickers in my chest. I lie back on the bed, flinching at the dull pain in my shoulder. My eyes close, and for the first time in days, I welcome the embrace of sleep. Tomorrow, the sun will rise again. Tomorrow, I'll wake up alone. But I'll wake up, and that's enough for now. I'll learn to carry the scars, the bruises, and the memory of that puddle of blood. And somewhere in the aftermath, I'll find a version of myself that's stronger than before. That's the quiet, searing truth I whisper in the darkness. She broke me, but I'm not done living. Not by a long shot.